It's the 7th of February. This is your daily crypto news. We've got a very sideways market. It could potentially even go down quite heavily. However, I think overall, this is definitely time to focus on some things. Let's dive in. Keep in mind that Van Eyck thinks they could have Solana price at $520 by the end of 2025. I think it can be much higher. That's conservative and still very decent. It's $200 now or less. So that's still a 2.5x, which is decent. Quick look at Meteora for a bit of an overview. Nothing much here that's really, really exciting. It is kind of a dull and boring market, which is the best time to actually buckle down, learn things. But we're looking at the fact that there's more ETF proposals coming. Also, there's a lot more focus on Bitcoin, and even Bitcoin mining is kind of picking up a little bit of attention. And there's more stablecoins coming to the market. As more stablecoins come to the market, this is of course very bullish. They get used for crypto, they go in and out, they create trading volumes, all sorts. Stablecoins in the market is bullish. Having a quick look at Forex Factory here, we can see unemployment rate is released later today, 1:30 p.m. And this is scheduled to be, or forecast to be, 4.1%. So we'll have to wait and see if it's lower or higher. I don't think it's going to move the market too much. I think right now, AI in America needs to get under control. It needs to beat Chinese AI. It needs to start to gain some money into the market cap of American companies. The tariff stuff has to be kind of worked out, which means we could have a bit of an iffy February and or March. Keep in mind that all this stuff happens, it happens so dynamically. We didn't even hear of DeepSeek like a week and a half ago, and then all of a sudden it's super relevant. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. The point is just money moves markets, and money moves depending on narratives and things like that. So in general, don't think it's going to move the markets too much, but this is not a time to expect a whole lot of upside, in my opinion. Czech president signed a law removing the capital gains tax on Bitcoin after 3+ years of holding. A little bit too long for most people, but still a good positive movement. And in general, the BTC, just the whole crypto markets are going down. How are you feeling though? I'm completely fine. Completely fine. There's still a lot of DLMing opportunities, just not as many as there normally are. It's still a fun time to be here, to be honest. Also, legislation will allow the state of Utah to invest in Bitcoin passes the House. It has to go to the Senate. So there's so many bureaucratic steps here, to be perfectly honest, but it's probably going to pass. And then you've got a state literally on board with buying Bitcoin. Having a look at the market state visualization, Sol has gone up a little bit, XRP is doing fine, and BTC, it went down like 96 or a little bit lower. It's popped up. ETH, I'm still really trying to find a reason why it could pump, because I'm seeing some whales talk about it, but they're not really talking about it in a positive light. Like Tetranode is talking about it, but he's mentioning, we need to get the burn more. We need to put more pressure on the layer 2s to burn ETH. But the whole plan with layer 2s, the centralized, their goal is just to make transactions faster. So I'm kind of feeling that ETH is going to struggle a little bit. It's a little bit like Cardano. It has like this massive following. That's not really a fair assumption. But Cardano is probably not going to make it, because they can't ship things fast enough. So it will become a dyno chain, like Stellar, like Litecoin, etc. ETH has all the support from other things, but the actual core asset of ETH, it's not super, super lucrative to hold right now. It's not outperforming Bitcoin. Our fear and greed is at 44. Not as fearful as would like to go and buy the dip, but still maybe a good time to DCA, not financial advice. Having a look at the Solana calendar, we've got the BONK Dragon claim coming up today. Just a reminder to farm grass. And I'm not doing this because Super Bowl is not my thing, but you can go and bet over on the Super Bowl with Lucky Dragon if you're keen. A lot more information will always be in here, so check this out, make sure it's bookmarked. Total market cap of Solana stablecoins has surpassed 12 billion, which is absolutely insane. We can have a look at this, the change in 7 days, 763 million, almost $1 billion in 7 days. There's also some bullish news on the ETF front regarding Grayscale's Solana Spot ETF, because just previously Solana was labeled a security, and that was very, very damaging to the price and whatnot. And now, like, it's a baby step, but it's overall very, very bullish. We've got so much competition out there, like Litecoin's going for one. We've got XRP, we've got Solana. There's probably even a Cardano one, I have no idea. But hopefully the Solana ETF is the next one to start to bring on that institutional money. BONK, the team or the early contributors, they've gone and burnt over 2 trillion BONK, worth $35 million today. In the future, I think it'll be worth quite a bit more. The BONK price hasn't done anything. In fact, it has been really quite brutal over the last month or even 3 months. I had one friend that was liquidated just by not using stop losses. So remember, leverage is not your friend unless you are all over it. And if you're going to leverage, start with like low amounts. Have stop losses, have take profits, don't get too greedy. Nom, who is from the team, he says, looks like people have been speculating based on a single piece of information regarding how much BONK you're going to get, because possibly it's just a $200 billion or 200 billion tokens being airdropped. And that might be the case, but we're not going to find out until today. So when that news comes out, I'll just tweet it out. Jussie has a thread on why you should buy Dupe before $5 as a comparison to Ray's buyback mechanism. Now, if you compare Ray's token to Orca's token, they're similar tokens. They have no governance, they have no upside, they just have buy pressure. Ray, I think, could certainly do well. The other thing is Ray, they buy back the token and then it just sits there. Like, I don't even know what they're going to do with it. It may say in Discord or there may be a doc on it, but I just asked on Twitter and I didn't get a reply. Similar thing with Dupe. You know that they're buying it back and, well, we're still yet to get all the details, but they're buying it back and it's not being burnt. So that's fine, but it can be utilized again in the future. But in general, exactly as it suggests, the token price will go up with more buy pressure. So it's not about before $5 to me. It's trying to accumulate as much before $1 and before this vote goes live. And then once the vote goes live, ideally they just implement it fast. And ideally they even go retroactively, like, okay, cool. For the last 3 months, we've earned $106 million. We're going to go and buy $54 million worth, $53 million worth, and start just pumping it up. Not like in one clip, of course, but just, or they can announce, hey, we've actually been buying back $53 million worth. Here is the address. That would probably be the better way. Winners of the lucky draw for Jupiter Mobile. I was not one of them, but congratulations. If you recognize your address here, you have to DM Jupiter Mobile team, and only if it's a complete match. If some of the letters match, do not DM them, and there will be a lot of people that will. Please, like, be better. Up your IQ, just be better, because otherwise they're going to get a whole lot of spam. It doesn't help anyone. And Layer. Sol Layer is something that I haven't got a huge amount of understanding on, but I did speak to someone at Cat Symbol about it. Didn't walk away incredibly bullish. There's no intention of fudding here or anything like that, but I would be more bullish if they came out with good tokenomics, and these are the same tokenomics. So they have, community 51%, incentives, etc., 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 core contributors. That's all okay. It's not perfect, it's okay. It's more the fact that such a small amount comes out early on. I think it's 22%. Let me just scroll up and find how much is available on token generation event. Okay, so here it says max supply is 1 billion and then initial circulating supply of 220 million layers. So it is a 22% initial and 12% is going to Genesis in some way, like I believe the community airdrop. So Solana SOL, your SUSDC holders, users that did all this stuff. So maybe you get an airdrop here. And I could be wrong. And maybe I could even do a podcast with the team. There's no intention to FUD here. It's just we're clearly out of this low float, high FTV meta. It's been communicated for months and still tokenomics advisors are going and advising that this is a good strategy, despite it just failing and failing. Having said that, I haven't actually jumped straight into Berachain, and they have a 20% circulated, which is not the best. Now, Berachain, it launched, if you managed to get some because you did some tasks I suggested throughout many, many months, fantastic. Do you go and sell it right now? Well, not financial advice, but if I had an allocation, I would. But I am keen to see what kind of liquidity providing opportunities exist over there that maybe have outsized gains. It's an ETH layer 2. Its branding is kind of unusual. Bearer chain, there's a bear and chain. And they have a high, decent market cap, which means VCs can immediately short the position because they have a locked position. They can short, so there's like a short position to hedge gains. That way, as the price goes down, they make money, and they're unlocked tokens, they're locked tokens, they lose money as well, but they're actually hedging their position. And I don't know what they're up, but they're going to be up probably 100x or something quite sizable. So plus, I believe they can stake their tokens, so they can also earn those rewards. It's kind of like Celestia. And if you have a look at Celestia, as hyped as it was, this was one of the most brutal things. I mean, down 85%. Celestia, I don't know, trying to be red-pilled on at one stage. My point with Bearer is, I don't know if it has potential to go up. It doesn't feel like it does really to me. I think what would be better is going over there, jumping to maybe like an ETH USDC liquidity pool if it's giving decent rewards on a DEX that is trusted. If anyone has any resources, ping them to me. I'll put a researcher on it, but most of the time, Meteora is where the party's at. Speaking of Meteora, I have some strategy videos that will be coming out today and then tomorrow. And then I'm going to start live streaming probably in like a week. I just want to be sure that when I live stream, most of the time I will be profitable. So I want to work out these strategies now so that when I live stream, it makes sense, right? This token, I literally went in, it'll be in these little videos because it had high volume. And I was just doing a strategy that was outperforming, and then I left it in a particular strategy. It went up and down, generated decent fees, 11 hours, $224 of profit. The actual fee generation, $151 on TVL of 197. Doesn't always end up like that, but looking at the volume, and there was a lack of volume in the markets yesterday, this was outperforming, I just went with it. Quickly, just putting this on your radar, Chirp DY. I have a friend who is friendly with the project, and he's quite bullish on them. So I'm doing a little bit of research, but if you want to go and jump into it, this is basically, it's in the Internet of Things. It generates chirp or birds. I'm sorry, I haven't done all the research. Putting it on your radar, okay? So I'm gonna go and buy one of these. I'm gonna go and put in a bid for one of these particular devices. I don't know how long it takes to get shipped, but I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna see how it goes because DeepIn does have relevancy. You can follow along if you're interested in DeepIn. I'll update you on that. And the final thing is use my code SebMonty to sign up to Castcard. Castcard is freaking sick. It's something I'm very, very bullish on. Get amongst it now. I personally have a black card, so I paid for a black card. You get like a 20% discount on the black card, or you can go for the free version, but you generate points. And it's especially very good for people in the US because there's no foreign transaction fees. Otherwise, if you're outside, it's around 2%, which is still a lot less than my current credit card or debit card. So it's a bit of a no-brainer for me. That's all for today. Make sure you subscribe. Check out these other videos here if you want to keep on watching more. And I'll be back with more tomorrow.